Well, there's the motto that helps us keep abreast of the true Speedway fan. They really are some of the most loyal and enthusiastic supporters in the world, and that young lady says it all on that T-shirt. Fills it out quite well too, doesn't she?
Britain's hopes of a World Cup gold medal. The crowd are roaring already. The starting marshal is there. Peter Carlson looks down at the straight. Scott Nichols gets a great start and leads the field going into that bend, but coming out the outside and picking up maybe Peter Carlson. Nichols is back in third. Carlson moves to third.
Scotty, obviously you're not happy, but you did everything you could.
I mean, it's a World Team Cup, and all I can say is I hope Hans Anderson benefited very much financially from that, because, excuse my French, that's bullshit. You don't do that, you know?
We've been watching it in slow-mo quite a few times. It looks like you're in the lead, you're in control of it, you look over your shoulder, you see Peter there, the throttle comes off, he passes.
Well, the thing is, I'm spinning my tits off really out there, and I couldn't get to drive because, like, if I would have let Peter through, I wouldn't have let anyone else through.
10 qualifiers, certainly, and we have Andy Graham on 6 points at the moment as the 11th qualifier. But all of these riders in Heat 20 can go through. We have got Bo Peterson there in yellow and black. Now, he has 4 points. If he wins it, he takes the last qualification place. If he doesn't win it, any of the other 3 riders inside him, Eric Goodlison, Ole Olsen or Peter Collins, can get 3 points here, which moves them into a level situation with Andy Graham. We would have a runoff for the last place, and of course if Peterson finishes second, he would go in that runoff too. Third place, it is still Gunderson, and Peterson's at the back, and this is good news for England because Peterson really needs to move up into second place. Peter Collins is going to win it, and that will take him into a runoff with Andy Graham. And Peterson making a last availing bid to get up into second place, and Olsen's looking for him there. And the Danes, well, who goes through? It is Bo Peterson. And again, we can only conjecture about that last corner because, well, maybe we're speaking out of turn. It looked like Olsen notably slowed, let Peterson come through. A second place will put him on 6 points, and he's going to go in that runoff as well. So right to the last ditch, the last gasp, we have got something to talk about.
Well, we're moving on to Heat 19. It's a fascinating situation because we have 4 Americans. Bruce Pennell there in the blue helmet colour. Now, he needs to win this race to win the meeting outright and the £1,000 first prize check. But he's got 3 Americans in here, all his compatriots, Dennis Sigalos, Kelly and Sean Moran, and they're all in fighting for places. Now, there's Harry Ox lined up. If Sigalos wins, it could make sure of his place, and away they go. And it definitely looks as though Pennell is putting the country first. Now that's a gesture. Sigalos and Bruce Pennell can hardly be taking less interest. And that really is quite a gesture by Pennell. Moran brothers look as though they're going to go over the line together. There's Sigalos in front. Pennell's way at the back doing wheelies. This is pure circus. It is theatre. Sigalos wins it. Second place was Kelly Moran. Well, there's absolutely no question that there was some collusion there. Pennell, you might say, has made the supreme gesture, or you might say that's gamesmanship to the nth degree.
Don't feel you're just a bit naughty?
Yeah, a bit.
Controversy than the style and class of the racing. Well, there's Bruce Pennell, the rider who left Wembley as everybody's favourite, the darling of the English crowd, with his back to them, and now feeling and knowing what it's like to get the boos of a British crowd as well.
We've got the consolation final. Lee Adams on the inside, the 28-year-old Australian. Jason Crump, the 23-year-old Australian inside him. Joe Screen of England in white, and Tomasz Golob in the yellow helmet on the outside. And Golob gets a bad start from the outside, but it's the red of Lee Adams at the front, quickly eclipsed by the blue of Jason Crump. Round the outside, the white of Joe Screen, but Tomasz Golub's gone. Tomasz Golub's pulled out already. The race appears to be going on. Golob doesn't agree with it, but the race is going on. World Series, but it looks like it just has. Golob registering his protestation, while at the front in blue, The man who's looking as if he's heading for maximum point. At least he's not tailing as badly as the man in yellow and black. A distraught Thomas Golub. Drive he needs, he wins it, second place, if this stands, of course. Goes to Lee Adams. Thomas Golub marches straight across to have a word with his manager and say, excuse me, there's something, he was very unhappy about something.
Hello, referee. Who is it? Referee, Thomas Golub's representative would like to speak to you, please. If you just hold on a second, I'll just get the referee for you. Okay. He's going to get the referee for him.
Yeah. Mayhem.
Right, just speak to Thomas, please.
Yeah.
Excuse me, this is Thomas's manager. Listen, there was a red light coming on into turn 3. The yellow lights were flashing. The yellow light was on. And that's why he shut off.
Thomas.
Yes.
The flashing red lamp didn't work. You couldn't see any red flags. The flashing red light didn't work.
Yeah, it was flashing all over the track.
It was for some seconds when the flashing yellow lamp worked.
Yeah, well, the yellow was on, that's what I'm saying.
Not the red light, and you couldn't see any red flags. Sorry.
The red light was on, it was flashing, the yellow light was flashing.
No, yellow, not the red, the yellow.
Yeah, the yellow light was flashing.
Yellow for some seconds without any flags and without voice. It wasn't start the heat. Sorry. But if you want to protest,
could you talk to the clerk of the course, please?
If you want to protest, you can do it, Thomas.
Esteban? Esteban?
Yeah?
It's Graham Reid. The yellow lights came on during the race.
Yeah?
That's why he stopped.
Yeah, I know it, but it was the yellow light and not the red light. There wasn't any red flags. But if the rider wanted to...
Look at the slow-mo here on the replay.
Do it.
And there's the yellow light.
Final, just 250 pounds going for exactly 70 seconds or so of action here. And you can see the lineup. Ivan Major on the inside, Finn Thompson there in blue in grid 3, and on the outside Dave Jessup in white. Third place runoff. Major all on his own on the inside. An old campaigner. You never underestimate him. Here he is, 39 years old in the runoff for third place. An even break, and Major it is again who has done the start. He leads it. Second place, very tight between Thompson and Jessup, and Thompson just squeezes through, going down the back straight into the bottom 2 corners. There's Major, and he's backed up, and that's awful luck. Well, dear. He seemed to have it in his pocket. Thompson goes over the line to take the £250 check. Jessup is second. There's Finn Thompson. But oh dear, Ivan Major, really, your heart must bleed for him. That was awful luck. Right on the last lap, the bike gave up the ghost, and that's cost him £250.
What happened there?
I stopped, actually.
Why was that?
Well, the rider who finishes third in this meeting is number 13 in the final, and I don't want to be 13 in the final.
Why is that?
Well, you have the first 2 races together, and then there's a big gap before the next one. And third place is 15. That's 2 races in a row as well, but it's not so bad. It's later on. So
while the other riders were thinking about the £250, the old fox was thinking about tactics for the final.
Good start number for the final.
Once again, they'll try to settle down and go, and away they go. And it's Pennell in front. Pennell moving out, and Collins has swung out, and Carter's back in last place as Peter Collins goes away. Oh, what a move! And then Pennell will swing on the inside, and he's taken Carter out and knocks him straight into the fence. Down he goes. It is still Collins in front. He must stop it. He must stop it. Carter is trapped under the fence. And what are we going to make of that? Well, it was getting pushing and shoving and elbows. Neither rider giving anything away. And well, I wouldn't like to be the referee to call that one. Well, Carter is down. We can only keep our fingers crossed he's okay. And as dramatic moments in World Finals go, we've had 36, this is the 37th, and it will come no more dramatic than that. Carter is still under the fence. And at the moment there is no exclusion light on.
For the grid lineup for Heat 12, Malenko giving a fuel sample, check of the methanol straight from the tank, and off to be analysed to make sure it doesn't have any additives in it that are illegal. That one was quite cold by the look of it. So into the sample box goes some of Amalenko's fuel, to be followed no doubt by a few more riders later on in the night.
Official FIM meeting, and we have the machine scrutineer Ernie Woods there from the ACU testing the fuel for any illegal additives. A new innovation at these meetings, but one which makes sure the boys play by the rule book.
Well, here we have something quite interesting. Road racing fans, of course, will be quite familiar with this sight. Tyre warmers. Of course, Formula One car racing fans will be even more familiar with it. But it is now in Speedway as well. Brings the tyres up to the working temperature before they move out of the paddock onto the grid.
Inside, Olsen, red. Next to him, in white, Edward Jansarz, Poland. Grid 3, Hans Nielsen, blue. On the outside, Zenon Plek, yellow. Heat 21, that's going to sort out all the answers for us. Away they go, and it's Jansarz in between the two Danes. Olsen leads it going wide. Olsen leads it. Nielsen's come through on the inside. The Danes are 1 and 2, and now Jansarz, who really made a bit of a hash of those first two corners, must really try to burst apart. He's got to try and split them up. Olsen has ridden absolutely magnificently. He has team ridden his partner home, but though Jansarz is not finished. Here he comes again. And it's so close on the line there, Jansarz. Olsen has won it. Was Nielsen second, or did Jansarz get up? It's a blanket finish, and the judge will have to sort that one out. England, who seem to have this title in their pocket at the halfway stage, slipping in the second half, and the Danes have got a storybook finish that only Hans Christian Andersen could have created.
There was a controversy at Voynes in Denmark because the man who finished third officially there, Jankart the pole, said that he was ahead of Nielsen. Now if we just edge that slowly towards the finish, Olsen definitely wins, but Jankart's the man on the left, says he finishes second ahead of Nielsen. And if you look very closely, it's awfully difficult to tell, but he looks to me as if he actually did. Well, that was unofficial. I must say, if he had finished second, then of course the whole thing would have been squared, and Denmark and England would have had to ride on.
But heat number 8, still just the 1 point difference, and Coventry team manager Mick Bell senses that his trump card may well be David Barge, who has 8 points. He brings him in here in the blue helmet in grid 3, and this is David's 4th ride in 1/8 races. He really has been in the thick of the action. There's the lineup. Jorgensen on the inside, Jensen grid 2, Barge in grid 3, and Pedersen on the outside, and up to the corner, and it is Jensen, and it's very tight down as well. Barge is untied horse. No option. Well, David Barge, who was bundled down at that first corner, with start, would be
A moment of controversy during the evening when this silencer, that of Ollie Olsen, was alleged to be illegal. Olsen was accused of cheating by Kai Niemi. He had a point deducted, which was later restored. But Olsen said, "I was totally put off by what happened," and he was, of course, knocked out in the Intercontinental final.
Rider Jeremy Doncaster climbs on the bike belonging to Oxford team man Simon Wigg in an effort to catch up on the Danes. England trailing by 10 points as we enter heat number 12. The riders Chris Morton in the red helmet on the outside. Peter Raun of Denmark wears yellow and black. Doncaster, the man on his borrowed captain's bike in blue, and on the inside, the one they call the main Dane, Hans Nielsen. And Hans isn't interested in coming up to the starting gate at this point. He's disobeying the starting marshal's instructions. The starting marshal indicates to the referee that he is the boss of the starting gate. And it looks like we have ourselves an interesting situation. The starting marshal has walked off the track. And the rider in white, Hans Nielsen, has been excluded for disobeying the starting marshal's instructions. This is controversial. Referee Paul Ackroyd says the marshal must be obeyed and Nielsen is out of the race. He doesn't want to go. And all of a sudden, Dudleywood Stadium has become alive. The starting marshal is in charge of the starting gate, and he says that the riders must come up to the tapes when he indicates them. They must take the positions he indicates to them. Nielsen several times shook his head and refused to come to the line. The marshal walked off the track, indicated to the referee pressed the exclusion light, and Nielsen is out. The problem, of course, is that he's not going anyplace, and that he and partner Peter Rowan are sitting at the starting gate, and it could well be that the referee will be forced to take greater action if his instructions are not now followed. The interesting fact is that Nielsen had been starting from the outside starting gate up till now and gaining great advantage from so doing. In this race he'd elected to go to the inside, and he seems to have elected to end up some trouble. The photographers are gathering like vultures. The riders are coming back to the starting gate, but they won't be going any place while Hans Nielsen remains on the track. And he wants to join them. And the referee, of course, has already indicated by switching on an exclusion light that Hans Nielsen will not join them. And he now leaves the starting gate. The tapes are dropped again for a restart of heat.
Coming out for the pitch now, the heat number 22. This is the C final. Being pushed away there is the Australian Craig Boyce. Already out of the track in red, Thomas Gollob. Already with him in blue is Tommy Knudsen.
Well, I mean, he's on the inside. He could skittle the others out the way, but they're all racing, aren't they, for next year's standings.
Great Boyce are racing for places. They may have to all go to Lanigo next week to qualify for next year, but who gets to the bend first here? Coming around on the inside is Thomas Gollob in red. He holds off Tommy Knudsen in blue. Coming through quickly in white is Craig Boyce. Craig Boyce in second place, coming through in front with a lap to go, but Boyce makes it on the inside. There's going to be a battle here on the bend as he takes Gollob wide. Gollob comes back again on the inside, and down they go. Craig Boyce is another victim of the Gollob's efforts on this Grand Prix.
Grand Prix race of this year that he was competing in, he has to go and take Craig Boyce off the bike completely.
Oh, look at this!